Season 3, Episode 8 of the Film Bros Championship Podcast. I am Tim, and with me is my co-host, Patrick. How you doing, buddy? Keep letting that go.
It's a really good song. It's tough not to. We were lied to. This is not a comedy.
Yeah.
Sunshine Cleaning, not a comedy.
It is a drama / melodrama with some occasional parts that might make you chuckle.
This is like, let's put these people in like a series of depressing situations and we'll have them smile through most of it.
Yeah. And thank God for Alan Arkin.
Okay. Let's just get into it. Screw it.
Yeah, sure.
Alan Arkin in this movie doesn't actually get anything funny to do or say, but because he's Alan Arkin,
yep,
you're just like laughing because it's him. You're like, oh, I miss Alan Arkin.
Yeah, very much so. And it's like he's gonna be in this kind of role a few times in his life.
Oh, this definitely feels like coasting off of Little Miss Sunshine.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we saw Sunshine Cleaning, right?
And it's all your fault.
Yeah. Well, hey, you put it on the list, to be fair.
I did. I don't think this is a bad movie.
No, not at all.
I just don't think it's not a comedy.
Yeah, it doesn't quite fit for what we're doing.
No.
But this has happened to us before.
It has.
Yeah. So I feel like almost every season there has been a movie that doesn't quite fit.
Yeah.
Although there was one time we thought like we were really worried about I, the Jury in season 1, and I was like, actually, it fits. This works. And
yeah, the movie was good.
Pleasant surprise, you know?
It was real good.
But yeah, so we have basically we have two sisters who were not doing great in their lives that seem to have fallen into a new business venture where they are cleaning up after crime scenes and other unfortunate events type deal, and trying to repair their kind of broken lives.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, kind of.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's it.
Yep.
I don't understand why. How do I? It should have gone one way or the other. Like if you wanted to be a comedy, you're going to have to actually put some jokes in here.
Right.
Are there any jokes in your comedy movie?
Not really.
Or you gotta go the other way and go like full drama, but maybe they found like the subject matter like all so depressing. They're like, I don't know, that's just gonna bum everybody out. But like, and so like neither master is served by how he did it. So I'm like, it ended up being just like fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
It's an easy, digestible movie to watch. You know what I mean? Like it's not overly filling by any means.
Tight 90 minutes. That helps.
Yeah, and I think you're right, because like I feel like they probably could have pushed the drama and maybe gotten some awards or something, right? Or they really could have gone the other way with it being more comedic. But yeah, it really didn't even dance that much of a line. I mean, it was very barely on the comedy.
Well, anyway, let's hurry this up.
So we have Rose and Nora. Sisters.
Rose is played by Amy Adams, a 30-something single mom in the Breaking Bad land of Albuquerque, New Mexico. She is spinning her wheels, working as a maid while having an affair with her high school ex-boyfriend, Mac.
Yeah.
One day, Mac overhears that crime scene cleaner can make up to $3,000 on a job, and he suggests that she look into that game.
Yep.
She runs into money trouble and decides to give it a go. A solid comedy premise. I mean, it really is. Like, all the elements are there.
True.
Alas, 'twas not to be.
No. Are we gonna? Because it's not exactly comedic, but it's again Tim Education Corner.
So you want to go right into why she's into money troubles right now? I mean, I was going to get into
No,
later.
it's not even money troubles. It's just the insanity of that situation with the son.
Yeah, let's wait on that. Not yet.
That she has an issue with the public school. She's got to put her in private school. What now?
Right.
So none of that made any sense to me, and I want to complain about it later.
All right. Nora, the younger sister, is played by Emily Blunt. She is Rose's screw-up younger sister. She is still living with her. She
can't hold a job.
Nope. Still living with her dad, chronically late for work, and bad at her job when she does show up.
Right.
She's traumatized by the suicide of her mother when she was a little girl. She's stuck and self-sabotaging and directionless.
Yeah. That's about it.
Yeah.
You don't even get a whole lot more because it's like you don't get more like maybe a bit later at the party that she brings the girl to where you start to get a little bit more of what her life has been like. The kind of boyfriend makes a very small appearance. And then that's about it again, you know? Like, it's just kind of like, okay, like...
No, it's very thin.
Yeah, it's very thin. And her ending conclusion is very thin, too.
Yeah, she's like, all right, well, I'm stuck here. I'm going to just go. I'm going to travel the country with a cat. Like, cool. Rock on.
Yeah, I just had the ultimate mess up and really mess things up. And my solution is to basically say, I'm sorry, and I'm out of town.
I'm going to run away and find myself. Like,
yeah,
solid idea.
It's just weird. It's really weird. There's just not enough there.
No. Anyway, no surprise, Amy Adams is absolutely stunning in this movie.
Yeah.
Can't take your eyes off her. Apparently in high school, she was the head cheerleader and was stayed the quarterback. And it's so weird because in this movie, she has this breakdown later where like she says like, I can get men to want me, but none of them want to date me. And no, I'm sorry.
Did she say not date? I thought she said marry her or something or
she says
or something.
Yeah. Same vibe. It's like still, it's like
right.
No. I don't sorry. You should have like tried to ugg her up a little bit or something like that. It doesn't like no way.
Right? Yeah. I don't know.
Anyway, let's see. One day, Rose is cleaning a rich woman's house, and to her horror, she discovers the house belongs to an old high school friend, Paula. Paula, by the way, looks like a decade older than Amy Adams, and yet she is a year younger, supposedly in this movie.
Yeah.
She lies and says she's actually about to be in real estate, and she's just doing some maid work in between, and woof, turns out Paula is actually in real estate too.
Yeah, who do you work for? Oh.
It was a good lie. Solid lie choice, although I guess technically there's a hint of truth in it because later on she says she was saving up to go for the real estate license or classes or something. I don't know. It all gets line of dialogue. That's all we get from the stuff.
I don't think she actually was in real estate at all yet, right? Because it's not till later that the boyfriend or the ex-boyfriend that she's having an affair with decides that he's gonna help pay for her classes.
Right. Well,
and then you start to finally see her in classes.
Right. She panics and leaves as soon as possible, but then gets a call about her son being in trouble again at school. And this all has the potential for comedy, but it's just depressing. It's like there's no punchline to any of this. Really. It's all like set up.
Yeah. Is this where I can complain about it?
Sure.
It's not really in the comedy range. It's just,
I did have something in the comedy for it, but yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to get into the comedy of it. I'm just going to get into the ridiculousness because he's out of public school.
Mm-hmm.
And so clearly, if anything, this kid maybe has ADHD or something along that lines. Private school would not be the solution or answer to that because I mean, as much as private schools do have to follow any kind of IEP, which is federal, but clearly this kid doesn't have anything like that from what I can tell, from what they're saying. So to say that the public school cannot offer him help, that he's got to go to a private school where private schools can ignore way more state federal policies because they're private makes absolutely no sense, like at all. So that one was just it's just really weird to me that like the public school basically is kicking this kid out because he's too weird and hard to manage. Like, what? No. Well, I'm sorry.
No, the public school asks him to start getting on medication, or else he'll have to leave.
Which they cannot do.
Right. That seems kind of fucked up.
Yeah. They can't do that.
Right.
If the parent doesn't want the kid to be medicated, then he does not have to be medicated. The school would have to come up with plans to help that kid. I mean, that the kid is not on a 504 IEP doesn't make any sense. Like, obviously, he would have had procedures started. Like this was driving me nuts as a teacher. Like, what is going on? This would never happen in a public school, and there absolutely no way would a private school be the solution. So it made me angry.
Okay.
Sorry.
It was a 2-minute scene in a 91-minute movie, but Tim's still raging about it.
I dwelled on it, man. It made me upset.
I actually, I thought Grandpa Joe there actually had the correct assessment.
Yeah.
That the kid was actually really smart and was just bored.
Yeah.
But
and you have to love too, and I guess maybe it's more side characters there, so sorry, but you got to love all the positivity that he put towards it.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. Yeah. But I don't really have much more to say about Nora or Rose. I mean, because Nora, like you said, doesn't have a lot going on.
Yeah.
She just helps out the sister, and then she gets kind of obsessed with helping out this random... Well, not even helping out. She wants to let this random woman know that her mother died because she helped clean up her home after she died.
It's clearly all therapeutic to her. So
right,
selfish.
Because of issues with her own mother. And it's just... But we don't actually know those issues, like what exactly the problem is until way too late.
Later.
So it's just like, why? She's just like she's coming off as a jerk. So
yeah. And then when you do kind of find out, it's this weird situation because on one hand you're like, this is just really selfish from her.
Yeah.
And how she's using her as her own therapy. But at the same time, they have these weird scenes where, and I don't know if it's supposed to be comedic. I didn't really laugh, but there's a part where she's having sex with her pseudo boyfriend, who's like going crazy, having sex with her,
going to Pound Town, yeah,
right. And then she's clearly like not interested and like is just waiting for him to be kind of done. So then sometimes with that and some other scenes, you're wondering like, oh, is she actually interested in her in a romantic way? And I can totally understand her, the friend there, getting the vibes that she's romantically interested, but that was never clear. It was never really. What is this more than her own selfish reasons? Is she actually romantically involved? Like, and the way it kind of just ended, obviously that there's not a fulfilling conclusion there. Her character was kind of and she's great, by the way. She's really good in what she does. Like, she's Emily a great actress. Yeah, Emily Blunt's great, but like it's just a very underwritten character.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like,
yeah,
there's a scene in this movie where like they're at this candy necklace party, and whoever ends up with whoever gets all the candy eaten off the necklace wins, I guess.
Right.
Just inferring on the rules. And the girl she brings over, who she's secretly holding on to photos of to give to her and not tell. But anyway, it's weird. She decides to go in on her neck and grab something, and you can't tell from the reaction from Emily Blunt there. I'm like, is she into it or is she freaked out? And yeah, I understand why the next scene later when she's like getting banged by Christian Olsen, you're just like, and looking not into it. It's like, no, she's just not into anything is really what it comes down to. She's just in this weird fugue state in her life.
Yeah.
And
I guess they're trying to get across that she is almost paralyzed from the trauma.
Right, which we don't know about until way too late. So it's just all like, what is wrong with this person? And
you do get the vibe, right? Like the train thing and her going underneath the tracks is supposed to be one of those things that actually where she does come alive and she does have some kind of life to her kind of deal. But I don't know.
Yeah. And as to Rose, Rose is a bit of a jackass and kind of deserves a lot of the bad things that happen because it's her own doing. You know, it's hard to
everything with the son and her going to that party is so frustrating to watch.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's
like, what are you doing?
For real. I think, well, she starts up this crime scene cleaning business, and she's working towards growing this business. She finally gets a call from an insurance company, which can lead to lots of more business. And she decides to send her sister alone because she really wants to go to this baby shower from the woman she met in the beginning of the movie, who's richer and in real estate, and she wants to show her like, now I'm okay. I got my own business. So she sends his sister alone. Huge mistake. She dumps her son off on a guy who runs a cleaning supply store,
who she barely knows.
Barely.
He's been a little bit nice to her
and flirty with her, and that's about it. And
I would say she was more flirty with him than he was of her.
Right, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm going to just trust you, this man who I've known for like collectively less than an hour. You can watch my son for a little bit."
The only reason why this somewhat works is the her, Rose, and Nora making up scene works a bit more because she comes to the realization
it was
her selfishness that part of this is her fault as well. And so that's the only thing that makes that work.
Meanwhile,
so I guess I got to give it that.
Like throughout the movie, she's carrying on this affair with a married man, her old high school boyfriend, and we don't know why they broke up. The movie never decides to explain. She asked the question at one point, why did you choose me? And then he's about to leave because he's annoyed by the question. And she's like, no, I'll keep kissing you and it's fine. And nothing. We never get to know why.
Never find out.
Do you think that's Mac is Oscar's father, by the way?
That's a great question.
I don't know. We never told who the kid's father is. So
never heard.
It's weird.
It really is weird. And it's interesting choice. I'm assuming Steve Zahn was the choice for this character.
Yep.
Because
don't say anything more on this because you're about to step on one of my very few bits of comedy.
I wasn't going to go on comedy.
But like Steve Zahn playing this part makes me laugh.
Well, I think, but I think I know what you're going with that, and I don't think I'm going to say that. Okay. I'm saying that I think the reason why Steve Zahn was casted though was because he's incredibly charismatic and likable. That's
the genius of the casting of this movie.
Yeah.
None of these characters are written particularly well or as good people.
Right.
But you have casted this movie filled with charismatic actors who somehow make these bland nothing roles into like likable. And like you shouldn't.
They do a lot with very little.
That's why I gave this category a 2.5. Just because like Amy Adams and Emily Blunt are so damn good. I have to it's really impressive how likable these characters are versus like what we're actually shown of who they are, you know? It's like it doesn't make any sense. It's just based purely
absolutely agree
on their abilities.
Yeah, and I actually went a half point higher. I went 3.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but I agree. It's just they're very poorly written, but yeah, they're great. They're so good.
Yeah,
and if anything, the casting director deserves an award because it's like this is what makes this movie work is the cast, right? They're doing a lot of the heavy lifting, and I think that's why I get the Zahn casting because it's like okay. You have to understand why this girl would still keep going back to this guy. And if he's a complete a-hole all the time, you know what I mean? Like, you got to have somebody at least likable and charismatic to be in that spot to kind of make that somewhat make sense. Because otherwise, it's like, oof, like, this is real rough.
Right.
Like,
this movie just would have been depressing from beginning to end. But we're just going to grab all these great actors who are super charismatic, who have comedy backgrounds, and we'll just run it as a drama with these people doing their best.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a cheat, but it works.
That's true. A nice man in Winnebago wants to sign us. You're signing. I'm signing. We're all signing.
A man in a very nice camper wants to put our song on the radio. Give me a pen. I'm signing. You're signing. We're all signing. God, I love Steve Zahn.
He's so
That
good.
Thing You Do is such a good movie.
He is actually insanely underrated, I have to say. Like, even in bad movies, he knocks it out of the freaking park. He can do some serious stuff, too. I've seen him do more serious stuff than this, and he's good.
You going to drop the movie, Tim? You going to say it?
No, I want you to say it. I'm nervous to say it.
This is The Perfect Getaway?
Am I thinking the same thing?
Whatever.
Yes!
Yeah!
Yes, okay. I was worried you were going to, like, come at me for that being bad or whatever.
No!
Thank you.
God strike down anyone who says that movie is bad.
I'm glad. I'm so happy we're on the same page. I was nervous. I was like, because some people throw shade at that movie. So I was like, oh no,
God strike them down. Yeah, I'm going to say something bad about a movie that stars Steve Zahn and Timothy Olyphant. Absolutely not. I can't do it.
Oh my gosh, right? That makes me think of Always Sunny. Body Mass Alone. Like,
okay.
No, you know what I mean? But like,
Yeah,
it's just like both people I love so much because they're so charismatic and amazing.
Plus,
they're in the movie together.
Plus, you got Mila Jovovich and
yeah,
can't remember who the other girl is. Man,
I haven't seen that movie in a long
and
time. I saw it once and I loved it.
And honestly, as I'm watching this movie, I'm like, I thought about Perfect Getaway too. I'm like,
did you?
I could really go for some Perfect Getaway right now. Like, I want to see Steve Zahn do something very serious.
It's great, right? And you could do that, and then you could do Daddy Daycare and almost steal the freaking movie
from Eddie Murphy.
And it's impressive. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's Eddie Murphy way later in life, but still.
Yeah, when he's like collecting paychecks.
Yeah, although to be fair, it's actually one of his better like later in life movies. Like
it's all right. It's no Dr. Dolittle, but all right.
I think Daddy Daycare. Sorry, I didn't see Camp. Daddy Daycare is better than Dr. Dolittle in my opinion.
All right, we'll fight about that one another time.
Another
season.
Dr. Dolittle that I saw in the movie theater with one of my friends that we looked at each other like, I have a problem. This is not Eddie Murphy. What's going on here?
All right, Chris Rock's hamster didn't do it for you, but you know what? It's fine.
No, although I remember when I rented.
Let's debate this one another season.
Fair enough. I just want to say, I remember one time I rented Metro, and you were like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "But it's Eddie Murphy," and you're like, "No."
Yeah, that one's not great.
No, it was like almost the beginning of the end. That and like what, Vampire in Brooklyn or whatever.
That movie's actually good.
I have to revisit. I saw that really young, so I have to revisit that.
All right, so let's get into possibly our shortest category.
Oh yeah,
favorite laugh out loud moments.
Yep.
So first time I laughed was when I realized that Steve Zahn. So we first meet like Steve Zahn and Amy Adams. They're just banging away at a motel room, like a cheap motel room.
Right.
And later on, you put two and two together when when Rose is talking to her. The woman who's cleaning the house and turns out she went to high school with. Yeah. That Steve Zahn is playing Mac, her ex-high school boyfriend, who was the starting quarterback. And it's like,
right.
Wait. And I had to pause and laugh and check out like
his height.
Steve Zahn is like 5'7".
Yeah.
How many games did that football team actually win?
Small town, Patrick.
It's Albuquerque.
No, you're right. It doesn't make sense.
It's like, no.
There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah. Of course, we're also supposed to believe that Amy Adams and Emily Blunt were like close in age. I'm like, yeah. She's like a decade, not even a decade, but close to a decade younger than her. Those ages don't quite match. And they
look like nothing alike either.
True.
But yeah, it was that definitely got a chuckle out of me. I was like, there's no way Steve Zahn is the high school quarterback that everybody's pawning over. Like, there's no way.
Should have made him a running back. It would have been a little more plausible.
Like a speedy slot receiver, maybe? I don't know. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Yeah.
All right. So the second time I left, we talked about the meeting. The teacher and the principal.
Actually, I have a laugh before that.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so is after the dude commits suicide, right? He brings in his own shotgun shells. He asks for a specific shotgun, whatever, and he kills himself.
Hold on, before that, can we talk about do you think he was drunk going in there? Because like, why did he do like the mint spray in his mouth before walking in? So he goes.
That's a good question.
He sprays his mouth and
I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
fixes himself and grabs a shotgun shell from his glove compartment.
He wants to be his best for his death. Maybe?
Yeah, goes into the sporting goods store and asks to check out a 20 gauge, and then pops in a shell and blows his head off.
Yeah, as soon as the guy gets distracted, he goes and pops the shells in. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't see anything, but you get the whole gist or whatever. But they're kind of right after that. You kind of go in.
This is the opening for our comedy movie, by the way.
Yeah, I know, right? But this is where you kind of get some comedy, right? So this is where you get Steve Zahn and all that introduced, and so they're kind of getting over the gist of like how messy this thing was, and so there is like he's over here in the fishing too, by the way.
Yeah.
Like it just going how far this thing spread out. That kind of made me laugh a little bit.
Okay. No. It was,
Carry on.
You're right.
We got a search here, buddy. So
we really do.
That's
so at the meeting with Rose and the teacher and principal. Apparently, our little dude Oscar has a bit of a history. Caused some kind of damage in the gym, which Rose had to pay for. Locked a kid in the locker. And now he's gotten into licking.
Yeah.
He started by licking the pencil sharpener.
Yeah.
And then the class aquarium. And at this point, I'm thinking, this is all a bit overblown. But then at the end, the teacher pipes up.
The teacher.
Yep. He licked my leg. It's not hilarious, but I laughed at the teacher's uncomfortable face confession. Like, she couldn't look him in the eye. It's like, he licked my leg.
And I like, too, before you get that, they do have a shot of the kid licking the wall randomly.
Yeah.
So it's a nice setup to being like everything that Amy Adams is about to be told is true.
Yeah. and
I like how the delivery of Amy Adams, I paid for that, was really funny.
Rose vows to take him to a new school, and Oscar apologizes. Rose says, it's okay. It's not you, it's them. And then I just had to laugh again because it seems like this one is on Oscar. Like, licking a teacher's leg. That's kind of fucked. Sorry.
It is. But at the same time, it makes no sense. There's no action plans. There's no 504s. There's no IEPs. Like,
all right.
Sorry. Anyway.
Fast forward to Rose at her first cleanup job. You got anything before that?
No. Well, yeah, no, the clean job is the next thing I have, yeah.
Okay, so...
I have the same thing. I paid the damage for that. It's disturbing. He licked my leg. Yep, now I'm at first cleanup. Yep.
Okay, so Rose gets paid $500 to clean up her first crime scene and is very excited about it. And she excitedly tells the property manager, you can call us anytime! And my dude turns around and gives her a justified, what the fuck look.
Yeah. I think, doesn't Emily Blunt also give like a what the hell's wrong with you look too?
Possibly, but I'm enjoying the look on the guy's face. Like,
yeah.
Because I forget exactly what happened. It wasn't very clear. I know at some point
there was a fight or something.
Somebody got their finger blown off, but like the blood in the bathroom seemed like a lot more than just a finger. So he's obviously upset about the amount of blood and shit that's going on.
I think it was like a husband and wife situation, and I think somebody died and someone else got their finger cut off or something. I think that's kind of how it went.
It was vague.
And it's funny because I like how it goes from there, and they're going into the apartment and they're looking around and like, all right, this is not bad. Like, okay, we're fine. Like they were a little worried going in and out. It's like, this is looking fine. And they're like snooping around, not snooping, they're like looking around. And then all of a sudden, Amy Adams goes into the bathroom and it's fine. I found it. And you just see the finger and everything.
Biggest eyes on her when she sees the blood and everything like that. Like she literally turns into a Disney princess cartoon eyes. Like, whoop.
It's funny. It was a good delivery. And then I like to, I think it was Nora that's like, do you think they loved each other? As they're like, picking up stuff. That was funny.
I thought it was weird.
I thought it was funny. It made me laugh. It made me chuckle or whatever. I thought it was almost kind of humorous and sarcastic almost.
Okay.
But, yeah.
At crime scene number 2, Rose and Nora have to clean up a hoarder who I guess died in bed. And the smell from the shit and blood covered mattress has to go ASAP.
Yes.
So they carry it out to the dumpster and they start arguing about how fast they're carrying it. And Rose suddenly decides to just stop and drop the mattress, causing Nora to trip and fall on it.
Face first, like right into it.
I made noises. Some of them were laughter. I was just like,
so glad.
No!
Because I texted you and I was like, there was one part the only one that made me like audibly laugh out loud that I actually cackled. I thought was really funny.
Right.
And that was it.
And like Rose just starts laughing at her. Like, you can wash it out. It'll be fine. And I'm like,
yeah,
no, that's so screwed up. Like, absolutely not.
It's real messed up.
Yeah.
And I like the callback to it later when they all of a sudden start looking up rules and finding out what they did because they just threw it in a dumpster.
Right.
Finding out that was illegal.
Yeah.
And there was a nice Emily Blunt like facial reaction being like, oh, yeah, look at that.
I swear, Tim, if I ever pulled something like that with you with the shit and blood stained mattress.
Oh, my God.
It's a free punch in my face. I mean, go ahead.
Yeah.
I earned it.
I would totally hit you.
And I would not just put my hands on my back like, yeah, I deserve it.
Like, that's fair.
That's
right?
screwed up.
Like, it was so messed up, but it was funny.
Yeah.
It was the only part that was like legit laugh out loud funny in this movie.
All right.
Yeah. Yep.
So Nora finds some pictures in a fanny pack in the hoarder's trailer and figures out that they are of the hoarder's daughter. And she decides she's going to give them to her. Make sure she knows her mother passed, even though Rose has told her not to get involved.
Right.
Nora ends up following who we later find out is Lynn, and she works at a blood bank.
Right.
Lynn stops the elevator they're on together and confronts Nora about her stalking her, but Nora lies and pretends it's just a chance encounter. And then Lynn gets kind of embarrassed and tries to compliment her and says, "You have really nice veins."
Yeah.
And I was like, that was so bizarre and awkward. It made me laugh. I was like,
there was some also really funny facial expressions from the both of them, to be honest, in that scene, because I thought Emily Blunt just straight up denying, no, I wasn't following you. I thought that there was some good facial expression going on there. It was pretty funny. Mm-hmm. And what's her name playing the other girl? She's funny. Like, she's a good actress too.
Mary Lynn Rice. Yeah.
Yeah, because she's done stand-up before too. And
yeah, no,
really
she
funny.
Is a comedian. Most famously, like Chloe on 24.
Yeah. And she's really funny. So it's like a weird thing. Like, man, both these actresses are so good. Like, I wish there was more here.
You really do. And I'm like, it's all the pieces are here. Why aren't we doing jokes?
Yeah, it's almost like
because that's it for the funny between the two of them, and everything else just becomes awkward and weird.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go more of the comedy route, it's almost like they should have focused on one of the sisters more,
exactly,
and had the other sister just be more of a comedic backup. But because they couldn't decide on that or whatever, they neither got enough of the story, and it fell flat because of that.
You know what this is? This is like a great idea for a television show. Like this should have been a television show because there's so much story to tell, and you could have spent time with a bunch more characters and stuff. But like what we have for this movie is just like everyone feels short-shrifted here.
I agree. I mean, there's ways you could have gone with this. I mean, you could have even gone a little bit sillier as a show and gone almost like a My Name is Earl type thing with it.
Mm-hmm. No, watching amateurs go into crime scenes and having to clean them up, that's lots of comedic potential.
For sure. And so it's weird. It's weird. Or again, gone full on drama. So it's weird.
Yeah.
Just a weird choice. It's odd, though, because I think we're ripping this more because of the season we're doing.
Yes, no, we are. Like, this is
because again, I enjoyed the movie.
Like, I would say it's fine.
Yeah.
Roger Ebert actually called us out for the same things. It's like,
oh, really?
Gave it 2 out of 4 stars and said, like, it should have gone one way or the other, and we're stuck in this median
no man's
place.
land.
Yeah, where, like, you're serving, like I said, you're serving no masters or whatever, like.
Yep.
And it's interesting idea, but like it didn't really accomplish what it wanted to,
Yeah.
And
without a doubt.
That's where I am with it. Like Like, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but I just would tell people, like, if you want to watch it, like, don't expect to laugh.
I think there's some people I would kind of recommend it for. You know what I mean? Like if there's like your like traditional like husband wife kind of deal that like two different kinds of movies, you can kind of satisfy both ends with people on that one. So that there's a niche there that kind of works to recommend it with. So I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, don't watch that one. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh my gosh, did you see this movie? Absolutely not, right? So totally get it. The next thing that I have is Alan Arkin.
Go for it.
Okay, so the next thing I have is Alan Arkin trying to sell his like candy corn, or not candy corn,
the artisan popcorn, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. And I like when he's trying to sell this popcorn, he's trying to go off on how it's good, it's healthy for you, and he's doing that whole thing, and he's like, no, I got my own thing. It's like, and he's trying to go over like, what you're selling, this isn't good for anybody. And he's trying to get him to read the ingredients, and he's like, you can't call this food, it has no vowels in it. And that made me laugh. I thought that was pretty funny.
And he was like, look, now read the ingredients on my artisan candy corn. Or whatever. Yeah. And he looks, he's like, what's the first thing you see? He's like, high glucose. No, not that. The next thing.
Yeah. It was like high fructose corn syrup. Corn, see? It's got corn in it. It's healthier. So it's like, yeah, this dude's like what do you call those type of people? Just, he clearly was selling things, but that's were bogus.
Yeah, that's his whole character.
Yeah.
And good on Oscar for conning that girl into thinking that she'll get bionic strength if she eats the strawberry.
Yeah, it was a nice little Oscar moment there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got nothing until like the fire. So go off, King.
Oh boy.
That's how hard I was laughing.
Yeah, I mean Alan Arkin. I guess there's a couple of line deliveries of calling him a genius, and then saying he wants to put him into some kind of class that I want to repeat. So I don't really kind of want to repeat it, but it did make me laugh the way he delivered it. I thought the sex talk about housing and crown molding stuff between Steve Zahn and her was a little funny. Just because they're, again, so charismatic and funny, the way they're going, bouncing back and forth, talking about like stupid housing stuff and getting turned on. I thought that was funny.
Okay.
I guess there's another cleaning scene where she opens the bedroom and sees like the blood and being really, really gross, and like Nora immediately throws up.
Yeah, that's in the hoarder's house. Yeah.
Well, no, I thought that was later.
No, it's in the hoarder's house. She's like, great, now we're going to have to clean that up too after Nora pukes.
Yeah. Okay, so great. See, I have that after the crown molding and all that. But anyway, so I thought that was kind of funny.
I think it could have been funny, but like she says it in a way that doesn't come off as funny. Like it's purely for the direction. It's like it's almost like this movie was written as a drama, and then like it got edited into like a fake comedy.
I guess when they get the van was another one where Nora goes, we can pay cash, and then Rose is like, no, we can pay some cash. I thought that was kind of funny.
There is a scene in this movie where like Steve Zahn stands Rose. I'm sorry, Max stands up Rose on one of their fuck dates, and she's just like laying in bed depressed. Yeah. And we got like, I don't know, like a minute shot of that. I'm like, this movie is sad. This movie is so sad. Yep. I am not laughing.
No. Yeah. What else do I got? I back to that party that he takes, or she takes, Nora takes, what's her name too?
Lynn.
And she tries to offer her drugs and alcohol and that kind of stuff. And she's like, no, and I don't drink or whatever. And like, you're straight edge. She's like, no, I wouldn't say I'm straight edge or whatever. And she kind of like tries to explain herself. And then Nora just goes, weird. Maybe just tell people you're a Mormon. So that kind of made me laugh.
She tells her like every time you take drugs or alcohol or something like that, you create psychic cracks and then bad things will pop in through you. First and before she's like, I won't tell you why I don't drink or do drugs. You'll think I'm weird. And then she says the psychic crack thing. She's like, weird. You should
Yeah.
just tell people you're Mormon.
Yeah.
But like the reaction from Lynn is just one of like awkward pause, and I'm like, okay, I needed something bigger there to make this actually laugh. Like, this isn't funny. This is just like, now I'm
It's
depressed.
more depressing.
I'm depressed again. This is sad.
Exactly. There was a way to make that funnier.
Right.
Like the return serve almost. But yeah, it wasn't quite there, but I don't think that's what they were going for. But yeah.
So I didn't write it down, because you're right. It's a great setup.
I thought the whole thing with Nora and Oscar asking about what a bastard means was kind of funny. I thought her saying like it's a free pass to cool, and the bastard thing's working for you.
Right.
I thought that was kind of funny. And then I thought when they get to the suicide house and them trying to explain to Oscar how suicide is a good thing. Was kind of funny too. And when I say kind of funny, again, none of this is making me laugh out loud. I'm just kind of smiling or smirking or
right.
stuff or whatever. But yeah, explaining how suicide is a good thing, I thought was kind of funny. And then Alan Arkin explaining how the restaurant business is a syndicate. I kind of chuckled on that one. And it's just Alan Arkin just being hilarious the way he's delivering.
There's a point in this movie early on where he just starts shouting Disneyland at his grandson.
Yeah.
Because he intends to. But like, it's funny because it's Alan Arkin. Like, there's nothing inherently. Yeah. It's actually kind of sad what he's doing.
Yes, because you're seeing Amy Adams' reaction to like he cannot follow through on any promise. And you see through the movie he can't.
Exactly. But it's like, it's Alan Arkin shouting Disneyland. Something about that is kind of funny to me. I don't know.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
It's so
it's
weird.
All the cadence. It's all the way he does it. But I love Amy Adams' like return after he says restaurants are some kind of syndicate, and she just gives this look of like, oh Christ. But then like ignores it and just continues on with other things. She knows there's no point in going in on that. And so I thought that was kind of funny a little bit. And then what did you have next? I don't know. I don't have a whole lot after this.
No, I'm fast forwarding all the way to the fire.
Okay, yeah. My next fast forward is like almost credit stuff. So anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Well, first I would like to say, so Rose wants to attend a baby shower to show off that she's a small business owner and not she's a maid anymore. And anyway, she sends sister up. Anyway, she gets to the baby shower. And one of the games they play is guess the chocolate in the diaper. Right.
It's actually a thing that people have done.
This is my question to you, sir.
Yep.
What the fuck? This is a thing?
This is a thing that happens or happened. Meg, I don't think did that. But yeah, there's usually games. There's like
no, I understand with games, but like we melted some chocolate in the diapers. Yeah. You have to guess the 5 different chocolates.
Because they have to be baby themed games. That's the gist that they do.
I'm not eating anything out of a diaper, especially something that looks like shit, even though I know it's chocolate.
I don't think they're supposed to. If I have my recollection correct, that from what I've heard from people who've done that game, again, I don't think Meg did that. I wasn't obviously at the showers. Some guys go to the showers. I was not one of them. I did not attend. I think I went to one of her work ones once, but that nothing like that was happening. Obviously, I think it was just supposed to be using your other senses, because I don't think you're eating out of that, especially because people are
no they were told to eat and guess which were the chocolate bars they were, and I'm like, I think
you are supposed to guess, but I don't recall there being an eating aspect to it to figure it out.
Anyway, I thought that was very disturbing. I'm like, can't you guys just
was.
Like,
and it was one of the realizations for her character too of, this is stupid.
I'm going to go.
These people are not great.
Yeah.
I'm actually really proud of what I'm doing and kind of F off, here I go. But
anyway, back at the house where Nora is by herself.
Yeah.
There's a bad smell in there. So she decides to light a candle and open a window.
Yep.
And then she gets surprised by a cat.
Yep.
That runs out of the house, and Nora gives chase. And she didn't realize when the cat surprised her, she knocked the candle over, which lights the house on fire incredibly fast.
Yeah.
And that whole bit is kind of funny, but you're just kind of like horrified at the same time. Like,
no, I didn't laugh at all at this part. So that's why I was curious. Like, I didn't laugh here at all.
Well, like the fact that the thing is lighting on fire while like she's like desperately trying to get this cat because she thinks she's going to get in trouble for letting the cat out. Yeah.
Yeah, losing the cat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you can kind of get.
But what I found
if there was someone else there, they would have caught that.
Right.
They would have caught the
this
candle.
is why it's Rose's fault that this all happened to begin with.
Yeah.
But what's truly funny to me, what I found truly hilarious, is that she and her sister only get sued for $40,000 after the fact. I'm like, they burnt down a house and they only have to pay back $40,000?
I thought it was a trailer, to be honest.
I thought it was a house, but still, like $40,000 that's a deal.
True.
That is being very nice. And that's all I have written down. So what else you got for?
I have very little things. So I like when, even though it's ridiculous, it makes me mad, but we see Oscar clearly in a dress code situation. So he's finally got himself into a private school.
Right.
He's being a creeper and using the binoculars that his grandfather did get him, although not the ones he wanted. And he smiles, and you see his temporary tattoo that Nora got him that said "little bastard" on it.
Oh, but hold on one second.
Which kind of made me smile.
I want to go back to that for a second. So early on, Oscar finds those binoculars that were his grandmother's, and he wants to play with them. Joe won't let him have it and says, "I'll get you better ones, whatever." And then he ends up, in the end, of course, he can't afford better ones, so he just gives him the binoculars. It's weird because we never really get an idea of like how Joe felt about his wife and what happened there at all.
Never.
The only thing we get is that it's hard to be a single parent. And he tells he tells Rose at some point.
It's that scene where she tries to drop the kid off there,
right?
Which doesn't seem planned, and he's like, "Sorry, I can't watch him." And so she doesn't say anything. But I asked you before, like that doesn't happen. So it does seem like an impromptu, even though this thing was, in advance party.
Yeah.
The gist I get is it really is last second that she decides to drop the kid off here.
Yeah.
Which is weird. So
I guess he was probably
the last
planning
second job. So she thought Nora was going to watch.
Exactly. That's my guess. This is Nora was going to watch.
Anyway, so I can't watch today, and that's kind of where he gives. It's hard being a single parent, isn't?
Try having two.
Try two. Yeah, he had to deal with a lot. Yeah, but yeah, that's as much emotional depth you get from Alan Arkin's character, besides clearly having a soft spot.
This is what I'm saying.
Grandkid.
Like it should have been like a 10-episode season of television. Like you could have like dug into that character,
fleshed all this out.
Because there's a lot there.
Yeah.
I guess the last thing is the joke about the van. So if you have anything else.
Other than the little bastard tattoo, I guess I kind of liked that that she ends up having the cat with her as Nora leaves.
Right.
I kind of smiled on that one. Yeah. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
Okay, so there was one last thing I forgot to mention is that so eventually Joe sells the house, his house, and he pays off Rose's debt and decides to go into business with her as a crime scene cleaners under a new business.
Working for her.
Right. Because they obviously they can no longer be called Sunshine Cleaning. They go by whatever their last name is, something with an L, I forget. And then he writes on the van, their new van, like established 1963 or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And Rose points out, like, that's a lie. And he's like, it's a business lie. It's not the same as a life lie. It's fine.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was the closest we've gotten to an actual joke for Alan Arkin. That was great.
That's true. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
So I gave this category a 1.
I went a little higher.
Okay.
Actually, I went a point higher.
All right.
I went 2.5. I did that because it's not like there was anything that was like that. They clearly attempted humor and a joke, and it wasn't funny. Like it was just bad. Like there wasn't anything quite like that. I feel like when humor was actually attempted, it was funny. There just was not enough of it. It was so few of it. So that's kind of where I kind of gave it some benefit of doubt. But yeah,
it's all well intentioned, sure, but I just never laughed. I really didn't.
Yeah. Well, besides the one time we agreed.
Yeah, the mattress. Yeah.
Yeah. So I could totally be convinced to go down, but yeah,
No, your score's your score. I don't want to.
I'm okay. I'm okay with my list fluctuating as I progress and see other movies. But yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
Supporting characters. So we got Alan Arkin as Joe, the father of Rose and Nora.
Right.
Not sure if he's always been this way, but his days now are all about schemes to make a buck.
Right. I almost assume this is what he's been doing almost all his life.
Don't know how he was able to afford that house if this is what he's been doing all his life.
Very point.
Zero background information on any of the characters.
You had that, and this is what he's been doing since to make ends meet, is what I assume. But again, that's a lot of me kind of putting that in there.
Right. First he's selling artisan popcorn. Then he tries selling shrimp he bought off a truck.
Yeah, and he's mad why he can't wash the kid later. He's mad because his shrimp is going bad.
Right. Nobody wants to buy his mysterious shrimp.
Yeah, it's sketchy. You got shrimp off the back of a truck. Who's going to eat that?
Yeah, exactly. Nothing works, and he never has much money, but it kills him that he can't give the expensive trips and gifts he keeps promising his grandson.
Right.
And yeah, that's, it's Alan Arkin. It's Alan Arkin doing Alan Arkin things. And he's pleasant.
Again, his delivery is great.
Right. Stuff is funny because of him, even though the written material isn't particularly funny.
Correct. Yeah. I got Mac after that.
So do I. Steve Zahn plays Mac. He's a piece of shit cop with 2 kids at home, and we learn later another on the way. Well, he has an affair and strings along Rose. Not sure if he's Oscar's father or not. He doesn't get to do anything funny, and the final breakup scene between him and Rose is anticlimactic, to say the least.
So I agree with everything you just said. If anything, I thought his concluding scene made me solidify hate this character even more.
Right?
Because he almost is because Rose breaks up with him and ends it.
She's like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, and he's kind of that's a bummer. And he just walks away. That's it. So clearly he really didn't care, which makes it even worse.
Yeah. I was like, well, that's it then, huh? And there's some staring at each other, and then he just walks away. That's it? That's all we're doing? Wow.
Yeah. It's just I'm just having a bad day. Or, she moved the football on me again. But, that's it. It wasn't, anything that emotional. Clearly she's having more of an emotional reaction to everything than he is. And it's just wow, it makes you hate this character even more.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bummer because you have Steve Zahn and he's great and he's really not given anything to do.
You got Clifton Collins Jr. playing Winston, the one-arm cleaning supply store owner.
Yeah.
Tim remembers him best as Lawrence on Westworld, the guy Ed Harris is dragging around all of season 1.
He's really good.
He is really good, and he's good in everything he's in.
Everything.
It's
a bummer because he's not asked to do much again in this movie because he's really he gets some reactions to Oscar playing with his sleeve because he's got one arm, his character does in this movie. So there's some stuff like that, or his facial expression when Oscar crashes his helicopter into a wall.
Yeah, he's really into models. He's got a bunch of model planes and helicopters, and Oscar smashes a helicopter with a remote control.
Yeah.
Goes into a wall almost immediately.
But that's about it. Otherwise, he seems to be kind of going for a ride a lot of times and seems to be easily duped by a pretty girl, which also kind of makes me feel frustrated for the character.
I wish they had almost progressed that into actual some kind of romance, and that's what she decides to break it off.
But you don't get that.
Nothing. There's nothing there. But there's hints of possibilities. I don't know.
Maybe, or because he agrees to watch Oscar, even though he's kind of this kind of sucks. You're asking me to do this, but it's kind of hard to just say no to you.
Yeah.
So sure, I guess I'll do it. And then there's no repercussions to him doing it. And then he gets invited to a birthday. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then he brings a gift as a cool guy. And she's like, oh, he brought a gift. What nice guy. But that's about it. So it's a really again, kind of a bummer of a character. It's depressing. Because to me, it's how she says this line, I can get guys to like me.
To want me.
Right?
Yeah.
Or want me. And to me, that continues. And so like that's not a closed loop of growth or anything. It just feels like we're at it again.
Mm-hmm.
And it just actually just makes me feel bad for this guy.
Yeah. Last and unfortunately least, shout out to my dude Kevin Chapman playing Carl, the boss of a competing crime scene cleanup crew. I love that guy.
Oh man, that's generous. Okay, yeah, okay.
Well, I love that dude in Brotherhood. Did you ever watch that show?
No.
He played Freddie Cork, like the Irish mob, the head of the Irish mob in Providence, Rhode Island.
Yeah.
It's a show that had like Jason Isaacs and was it Jason Isaacs? I think it was.
I don't know. I never watched the show. I couldn't tell you.
It's definitely. Oh man, hold on a second. Yeah, it was Jason Isaacs and Jason Clarke as brothers, and it was based off like a Whitey Bulger thing. It's like Jason Isaacs was also in the mob, and Jason Clarke was like a Rhode Island politician in the state house, and it was like the difficulties in there and that relationship. But yeah, Chapman played the head of the mob, and I don't know. I was really excited to see him at the beginning of the movie at the hunting store suicide thing. And that's basically the last we see of him in the movie, except for like one other scene where he kind of complains about the sunshine cleaning without knowing that they're there. I was like,
they're poaching jobs, offering like crazy inexpensive deals or whatever. Yeah, that's about it. I didn't even include that.
No, well, there's nothing special about him in this movie, which is what bummed me out.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to shout out, I like that guy as an actor. I wish I saw more.
Yeah, I put the Oscar character in here just for
I probably should have. Yeah,
weird, quirky things that he did, like licking the brick and that kind of stuff. But that was about it. Otherwise, you just kind of feel bad for this kid that he's so misunderstood and that really only the grandpa kind of. Well, to be fair, Nora kind of I think is great with him, and so is the grandfather Joe. But not that the mom is bad. It's just they're the most supportive characters of the kid, at least.
They definitely get the most scenes with him. It feels like.
Yeah, that's for sure. Like I don't think Rose gets a lot of scenes with her own son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I gave this category a 2.
I did as well, and it's mostly because of Alan Arkin.
Yeah.
It just felt wrong to give Alan Arkin like a 1.
So I gave this movie a score of 5.5.
Oh, okay. Did I really go that much further? I went 7.5.
You did. You went that much further than me.
Wow, I didn't think I went that much further. Yeah, I don't know. I as much as like, I can see why it being not the most humorous movie.
That's it. That's what kills it for me. Like, if I was just rating this movie as like, as a movie, like I just purely as a movie, not as how does it rank up against the other comedies of the year for comedy's sake. I would probably have this ranked like somewhere in the middle. Yeah. But because I'm rating this like, comedy is the most important section.
Sure.
And like this movie just flat out fails as a comedy.
There's just not a lot of it. But yeah, I get what you're saying. But I still, in the end, enjoyed it more than a few of these movies. So it was kind of hard to kind of trash it completely.
No, I don't want to trash it. I just want to say it just doesn't work as a comedy.
Yeah, I get that.
Like, it's a better movie than War Inc. But War Inc. actually made me laugh a couple of times. So I have to like...
I don't know. Like, because like, the way I did it was more like, yes, maybe War Inc. made me laugh a couple more times. But like, War Inc. also kind of made me go, ugh. Yeesh, also plenty of times.
That's a fact.
And Sunshine Cleaning never did that.
No, that's true too.
So that's kind of how I justified it. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I actually have it 6 above Sex and the City, the movie, and Rink. Yeah. And I know you're mad at me for having Sex and the City that low, but I had it tough.
Yeah. What a man.
So you had it. What was the score again?
5.5. It's at the bottom.
So it's the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a bit harsh. But
okay. So the cleaning supply store that Winston owns is the same one Robert Forster ran in Breaking Bad.
It did look familiar. Okay, cool. That's awesome information. I'm really like, because I was thinking that.
Yeah. So Breaking Bad and El Camino, it's the same store. I was like, oh man.
He works the on Tuesdays. The other guy works on Wednesdays.
Yeah, I guess. Like there are like only a dozen places you can shoot in Albuquerque, New Mexico, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
And somehow the Breaking Bad people just made everyone look like $100 million. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's great.
So this movie had a budget of $8 million and had a worldwide gross of a little over $16.5 million.
Okay.
It debuted at number 10 when it went into wide release. It had a kind of staggered release where it started off in 2 theaters or something like that in its first weekend. And
makes sense.
Slowly kept on building up. Once it got to like 400 plus, it's when I counted it as wide release. It lost to Fast and the Furious. That's part 4 for whoever's counting at home.
Okay, yeah.
In its debut weekend. And the other movie that debuted that weekend was Adventureland. That came at number 6.
Okay.
This movie actually, came out in the...
Is that not rated R? Adventureland?
Well, here's the thing. This movie came out in wide release in 2009.
Yeah.
So we were doing 2008, which is when it debuted at Sundance.
Okay.
So that's why Adventureland will not be counted because that's a 2009 movie.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, then.
I got a little confused, too, because all of a sudden I saw I Love You, Man on that list, too. I'm like, oh, I love that movie. Wait, should we be doing that? Like, oh, no, 2009. Oh, I see now. Okay.
I did like that movie, too, yeah.
Yeah. So, Tim, I haven't laughed really much in 2 straight weeks.
That's fair.
So I'm calling out one of the big guns.
Ooh. Where are we going?
Spumoni! We're going to semi-pro.
Okay. I'm glad you didn't go for the big guns, but it's funny because
I consider this one a big gun.
Well, not a lot of people do, and
They're
I
wrong.
think this is why we are probably 2 of the biggest defenders of semi-pro, because I think it's almost like this forgotten Will Ferrell movie because this is in the golden age of Will Ferrell.
It's weird. It's like he was putting out so many great comedies, so many of them in such a short amount of time that they started blending in. Like Talladega Nights should have been a bigger hit than it actually was. Step Brothers should have been a bigger hit than it actually was, and so should Semi Pro. And it's like people were just taking it for granted, like how amazing Will Ferrell was.
Weird because Step Brothers clearly became a bigger hit later.
Yeah,
but not all of the movies did. Like it's weird because I feel like I can have some really long conversations with friends and coworkers about Talladega Nights, but that wasn't a giant, massive success either. But there's not as many people that I will find that same conversation with Semi-Pro.
No, I love Semi-Pro.
And it's so funny. So I'm excited to watch
Flint,
this.
Michigan tropics alone.
Oh, man. Patrick, you jive, turkey. What'd you call me?
All right.
I'm excited. Good pick. I think we've turned it up. And that's on Max, everybody.
It is streaming on Max right now at the moment of recording.
Here we go. Yeah, hopefully at least. Yeah. Good pick.
Thank you.
All right, that is it for us. Please share your support for the podcast by leaving a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music if you're happy to listen to the show. Also, sharing is caring. Be sure to follow us on social media to get the latest show updates. You can contact us by emailing at filmbrochamp@gmail.com or find us by searching for the hashtag FilmBroChamp. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Film Bros Championship Podcast. Peace out, everyone.
Love you, Alan Arkin.